We are currently living in the Great Pirate Era where we don't know what the One Piece is. And if you don't catch up to One Piece, you will never be able to experience a Great Pirate Era like this ever again. That was pretty much a quote I saw while doom scrolling on Instagram, you know, as one does at 1 AM every night before work. Now, before I continue explaining this, I first just want to preface this that this isn't some kind of a FOMO type trickery where I'm trying to get you to watch One Piece, because if you do not watch One Piece, you're not one of the cool kids, although you are not. But more so, I'm trying to kind of, I guess, hook people who are already like 50-50, or maybe even inspire some other people who maybe just want to experience this amazing series as it airs. I try to sell a lot of people on One Piece, and although like a lot of them do actually try it out, like most of them don't even get 10% through to the series. I mean, that's completely valid. There are a lot of reasons why a lot of people can't get into One Piece, length being the number one problem. So before we start, please put in the comments down below your number one reason why you, or number 2, 3, 5, however many. Basically put in the comments the reasons why you yourself can get into One Piece if you haven't watched it already. And we'll see, maybe after the video you can go and edit the comment and say if I managed to inspire you to watch One Piece, or if I just managed to annoy you further. This is gonna sound super weird, but I am going to make a comparison to the MCU. Basically, once the One Piece is revealed, it's over. The cat is out of the bag, the Pandora's box is figuratively, maybe even literally opened, and everybody and their mamas are gonna know what the One Piece is. Half of people are just gonna wanna spoil it for themselves, half of people are gonna unknowingly get spoiled on it. There's gonna be a lot of stuff. Case in point is the reveal of Gear 5. I can just straight up talk about it because I know everybody saw it. One Piece spoilers, when there are huge One Piece spoilers, you honestly can't avoid them. Now, that in and of itself does not mean it ruins the series, but it does kind of lessen the impact and the emotions of it. Again, case in point, I'm going back to the MCU. Back in the glory days of MCU, when Infinity War was coming out and Endgame after it, that was the event of the ages. Everybody, and I mean everybody, was talking about it. I mean, MCU was already popular, but when these two specific movies were coming out, the discussions were wild. While I was in high school, everybody, and I mean everybody, was talking about it. I can talk about MCU to like most people in my class, in my school, about it. And when you went to watch that movie in the theaters, whether it was day one, week 1, week 2, it was an event. It was an experience. I mean, it did help that they were pretty awesome movies and all. The months leading up to Infinity War, then a year leading up to Endgame, I will never forget it. I hope I don't ever forget that feeling of like sitting and watching Endgame and my legs literally shaking. Those kind of events, you know, those are experiences, because, you know, I can go back and watch Infinity War, Endgame. In fact, I did last year, and they were still awesome. I still enjoyed them, but those emotions, that impact, that adrenaline, that sense of camaraderie, I will never get that again. Maybe I will, maybe there will be another series. I mean, currently I'm feeling that with One Piece, but that kind of experience you will most likely miss out on if you don't catch up to it. Now, it's not all doom and gloom, not at all. I mean, you still have plenty of time to catch up to One Piece. Because realistically, I mean, a year ago, or actually 2 years ago, I asked my friends, or my friend told me, hey, One Piece is actually entering its final saga right now. And I was like, oh, so what do you think, how long it's gonna be until it ends? And he said, probably in 5 years. And now 2 years later, I can confidently say, we are 5 years away from actually just entering the final arc. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not, we'll see. It's still gonna be a long time before One Piece finishes. But every single year you wait, that window to catch up to it in a reasonable time just shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. Let's be honest, everybody who watches One Piece, or just watches all of it, loves it. It is started as one of the best fictions of all time for a reason. But the length is a problem. But it doesn't have to be. Because you see, I actually caught up to One Piece only last year. At first I started reading it back in like 2021. I got 200 chapters in, I got to the Alabasta arc, literally the final parts of Alabasta arc, and I got kind of burnt out on it, and I stopped, and I didn't touch it for like 2 years until 2023, when one of my friends actually started watching it, and I just had to keep up. She was annoying with it, as the One Piece fans usually are, and she got me back into it. So I started reading from the beginning, and I caught up in like, I think it was March, maybe April, something like that. So it took me like around half a year, something like from November to April, something like that. But then again, I realized I was a college student back then and had a lot of lot of free time, and I am currently working, and I can notice, yeah, a lot of people don't have a lot of free time, so they can't speedrun the series in half a year. It might take them multiple years. And that's exactly why I'm trying to get you to start One Piece right now, because the longer you wait, if you want to experience One Piece without knowing what the One Piece is, without knowing all the huge spoilers, and believe me, there are gonna be a lot of huge reveals, you need to start sooner rather than later. Again, this isn't like pressure. You don't have to start right this second, right this month. Maybe you can even start next year, you know? But if you start right now, you don't have to watch 10 episodes a day. You don't have to read one volume a day, you know, to catch up to it in a reasonable time. You can take your time. You can watch a few episodes, you know, a week, and then maybe on the weekend watch a bit more, or maybe just watch a couple of episodes a day. You know, you can take your time. You have more options. What I'm trying to say is it can just be way more of a chill time. But you know, I do have to look at both sides of the same coin. Sometimes reading, you know, catching up to stuff and being updated weekly can also kind of, you know, just be awful. Because, you know, sometimes, like, if you were there in the trenches during the Jujutsu Kaisen days, my lord, every week was a toxic fest. You try to go on Twitter or something to interact, you know, to get hyped about the show, and you just see like 10,000 people shitting on it just because they can't read and didn't just watch or just read the series from the leaks and stuff. So yeah, maybe you don't want to. Maybe you just want to experience it all on your own. You can do that. You can just read it right now and experience it on your own, or you can wait after the One Piece completes and then you can just read it all in one go. There is a really good argument for that as well. I'm actually glad I kind of caught up in the time that I did, because I put my shoes in those like old veterans who were there since day one. And when I think like, oh my lord, they had to wait for all of these reveals, they had to wait for all of these long arcs to complete, to get the payoffs to characters, and I'm just like, wow, that's insane. So maybe waiting until the end is also a viable option. Now you might go into comments and say like, oh well, AniMatthicc, choose one. Which one do you want? Well, like, which ones do you want us to do? And again, I'm just a lowly YouTuber with 3,000 subscribers. Like, does my opinion really matter that much? You should choose your own way of how you want to enjoy the story. But then again, it is a fact that once the One Piece is revealed, you can never go back to the time where you're gonna experience the One Piece without One Piece being spoiled, or without waiting for that moment when it's gonna be revealed. Like, can you imagine how monumental and historic an event is gonna be, like when we're gonna be waiting for that chapter, when we're gonna be like a chapter before, when it's like, oh, they just got to the last island and they're gonna find the One Piece, or the episodes, the Crunchyroll servers are gonna shut down, Netflix is gonna explode because it's gonna break all the records and all that fun stuff. That kind of hype you will sadly miss out on. But then again, if you don't care about that, you just want to focus on the story, and you're a type of person who can enjoy the story for its own, go for it. Honestly, that doesn't matter. If you like to follow the events, if you like to follow stuff weekly, if you like to follow it all on your own, both are equally good options. I'm just bringing you to attention. If you maybe like those kind of huge MCU events, and maybe you have a hole left over from MCU and now you want to fill it with something, fill it with One Piece. It's a lot of dirt you can throw. And because we are entering the final saga, the final arcs, I can already tell there are gonna be some amazing fights. Like, fights in One Piece are super emotional and just scratch the amazing itch. And if they're gonna keep animating it how they're animating it currently in the anime, it's gonna be some of the greatest anime episodes ever. Because, you know, we are entering the final parts. All the characters are gonna achieve their goals, or maybe not, and it's gonna be tragic and it's gonna be heroic, and it's gonna have so many insane events that are just gonna be so hyped to experience this as they come out. But if length is still the problem for you, which I totally get, it's very daunting, you can also actually watch One Piece. If you don't know, One Piece is like a fan-made edit of One Piece where it cut out all the filler, all the unnecessary stuff. It just keeps what it's in the manga, what is canon, what's important for the story, and you lose literally nothing. You actually get a better experience than just like straight up watching it. It's also not super hard to do, and it cuts off like literally 40%. Instead of watching 1,100 episodes, you end up watching like 600, 700 episodes maybe. Which again is still a lot, but it's so much easier to digest. Or you can just read the manga. That's what I did, because then you can control the pace yourself. You can speed run through it, you can just look at the pretty pictures, you can just read the text, you can do whatever you want. The choice is up to you. If you want to be a part of the great pirate era, now is the time to hop on, because every year you procrastinate when you don't watch One Piece, you are losing time. But then again, it's your own time that you're losing, so you can do with it whatever you want. But just so you know, if you don't catch up to One Piece in the next month, you will be a bitchless loser with no race for the rest of your life. Stay strong, guys.